Welcome to part two. We're going to look at the different areas where I organized in more depth, and I'll try and put in some of the before. Here's the room again. If you're watching this one before you watch part one, that's fine too. I mean, that would work as well. But either way, part one is more about the overall, looking at from the outside. Now we're going to look on the inside. So I think we'll start over here. And right now, I'll put in the before. I'm emptying this one right here. Currently putting in there so I can take it to the living room and sort out what I want to keep and what I want to store maybe somewhere else, whatever. And then these will be organized much better to what I can use daily instead of just storing stuff. I don't want to just store it. I mean, it does have to be stored for a while, but if I'm not looking at it and using it, that's not a good thing. And that's kind of how some of these drawers got. So these papers over here, I took out of one of the drawers, so, or two of them, I think. I guess there's one. But I'm going to organize those in plastic sleeves, like I've done with the other papers that are on top of my dresser there. So this is the one that had all my trims, like upholstery trims in. And now it has, I tried to really make things make sense. Putting like things with like things works the very best, especially for me. And I think it's visually better too. And then I know where to find things, right? So I tried to do that before, but this is even better. So I just have various things in here that I will use for journals. But for the most part, they're in one place. And then in here, these are all my little quilts, not quilt. They were probably 4 quilts, but they're little prints. So little squares of fabrics. And of course, these I obtained at a yard sale a while back. And I've used them a lot in my journals and for snippet rolls too. So all that's all in there. One place. Not hard to get to either, but they were in the closet up in the shelf in there. I didn't change this too much, but it is where I keep like trims and things that don't have a home, and ribbon and things that in my mind have a certain look to them, so they're all in here. And then the same with this drawer. These are the more fancy laces. And then there's a bag of embellishments that are vintage here. So that's where that lives. And I like that arrangement very well. And that hadn't changed either too much. In this drawer is my original papers that I can copy, so that they're not all mixed up with the other ones where I have them on top of my big dresser. So that makes it easy for me to know, okay, go right there. Look, it even has some room here to put more. That's always wonderful. And then in this one, I have to be reminded as I open them, oh, what's in there? This is what it's mostly has to do with, well, it's various. There's cleaning things I can use to grab some paper towels or those wipes, and then this is my printer ink, and these are just some spools that had no other place to go but there. And I did have the printing stuff in this drawer here, but I changed that up so it makes more sense. I don't use that printer. Oh, look at that, an empty drawer. It has promise. Okay, so that's that, and I probably will put some of the laces I use in there for that empty drawer, and I'll just go over here since we're talking about that drawer. This is my wastebasket because it's nice to have a cover for it too. I put a bunch of my things that well, that shouldn't be in there, that I use often, and that's not organized, but that's okay because I can just, you know, dig through as I needed. So that's one that is like that. And so I might do that same thing in that bottom drawer, only I'll make it neater. I don't have to jumble it. And then these I've shown before, but this is my stamp drawer, and I have boxes like this, 3 deep, of different embellishments and stickers and stamps and things like that. I keep this in here because I'm going to recover it to have on my desk for notes. And then this is another stamp drawer, or is it all stamps? Okay, so we'll go around here. I showed you this in depth before on the first, I showed you all of this, but I do have space in here. These are empty. So I could put embellishments and things like that in there. It's always nice to have a little room in case, you know, you want to change things up or get something new. Okay, then in these drawers, in here, my a couple extra punches that wouldn't fit in my other drawer where I have most of them, and then these you know, the paper clay things that I can use, and not, well, obviously. And then this is an embellishment drawer, and everything's organized in little, you know, little containers for the most part. And so that's pretty much my go-to drawer for embellishments. I have ribbon and tags in here, which I may change that, but for now it's working for me. I could also put this ribbon up on the wall of trim if I want to. I kind of like it on the rolls for whatever reason right now. And then there's another layer under here. So that all keeps it concise, and I know where the tags, finished tags, are. And then in here I have old photographs of various types. And then there's some old postcards as well. I showed these in my not the part 1 of this series, but before that, the video I did of more of the, I don't know, heavy lifting work that I did for that video. This is papers. I have it divided by, some of them are like Christmas and autumn for journals, but I felt like that was the best way to handle those papers. And then the same in here. These are filed straight up and down, and some extra, they aren't photographs, but they're the cardboard frames. I'd gotten a package of that at a yard sale. And then, all of these are just things that I would also use for Christmas. So in this drawer is all my quilt, parts of quilts, I would say. Some of them are like just squares that I could make something out of, like a purse or whatever, or use them in the journals, all in one place. I love how that looks too. I really like old quilts. So many of us do. And then in here is plain fabrics that I can use either for more journal covers or make things out of, like journal pouches or purses, bags, things like that. I do tend to want to collect a lot of things, and this is kind of showing that, but also I am containing it to, or maintaining it, I guess you might say, to a certain amount. So I didn't mention this ironing board. I just said it like that because I bring it out sometimes, and I will use that as like a table surface when I'm trying to sew, put something together to sew, or snippet rolls or whatever. So that works really nice. It's a vintage antique type of wooden ironing board. In here, I'm gonna sit down so I'm not bending over. And look at this. This is where I have put all of my book covers, potential book covers, and I even told myself that. They're all nice and neat in one place. I don't have to look through every place that I have linens. I've already decided, okay, here's some book covers, and I can go to that. If I can't find what I need, then I can look further, but that's good. There's some doilies in there. I did tell you there was more room here, but I didn't really go into it, and I didn't show you how this works. I just take it off like that with these clips that I got from Amazon. I watched another video where they had these, and it was a great idea, so I don't remember who it was, but I did attach this by myself. I was going to like put a nail, something in the wall, like a hook or something to hook this. I didn't need to, because this helps. But what I did was I got little S hooks, one hook on this rack in the closet, and then the other part of the hook onto this bar. And it works fine, and I did it myself. Oh, that's always nice. You don't have to ask for help. So when you don't have to ask for help. So here is where I can add on, is right on all these. These will have to be a little shorter trim. And there's my little print that my granddaughter gave me for Mother's Day. We have to look at that again because I just love it. Okay, so in here I had similar things before. I've changed it somewhat though. I made the napkins much neater. They're all, the certain ones are all together, they're not just jumbled up in there. Very nice and neat. And then the same, whoops, the same within here, the same in there, and then there's some embellishments in there. Here I have ribbon. All right, so I put, all the ribbon was jumbled up, not on any cards. There were some on the spools, which I left like that. The ones I couldn't really put on cards are in this bag, and also right there in that box there, and the rest are on spools, and I put a little dowel through those so they're all together and don't come apart for the most part. So that is so much nicer and neater, and I can find what I want. I keep a broom in here, by the way, and dustpan, so I can clean up right away all the paper and things that fall to the ground as I'm working. Here is, I may have to put the, nope, I can do it. These are my doilies that I can use, and the cream light colored are in the front and the colorful ones in the back. And then, sorry for the noise, and just some extra little linens. All right, I don't probably need to go through this. Pretty much has stayed the same, and I put a couple extra little things to make it pretty, and other than that, it's all books and ephemera, old pamphlet things that I can use in journals or make journals from. In here, I keep this close to the desk. I move it closer when I'm working, and it's a very good setup for me. There is no place to put it against the wall, as you can see or have seen, but it's fine because I have to have it close anyway. So the same with this other one right here. I don't have to have that close, but it works well doing that. Okay, well, first I have the acrylic see-through clear drawers here. If I have a before, I alluded to this a little bit in the first video. I'll say it better now, I think. I took things out that I don't use all the time, and one of those things was a lot of scrap stuff. You know, it was here, there, and everywhere. I put that in one container. That's my go-to collage container, just as I did with the material and fabric and things I use for snippet rolls. I took that out as well. So there's that. That's what I did to really help with how I do things. So in here are labels. Labels, labels, labels. I have a little container here of Paris perfume type labels. These are plain ones. There's words, container of numbers and words and things like that, all in one place. When I need a label, I will go there. And in here are floral embellishments, just flowers. I had a drawer below in here that had the flowers and all kinds of other embellishments. And of course they would kind of fall out when I would open it, and I'd have to really search. Not anymore. To give some clarity here, all these drawers were a big mess. This is the before, especially that one, my binding drawer. That one was a mess. That was the flowers, and it goes up there. later. I put them up there, much neater. I had all of my stamps in one drawer, and it was getting in the things that go with it. And it was there was too much in there, so I've allotted 2 drawers for that. And here's the other one. So I can even put my extra dauber pads back there, and it's all really nice. And I use this, all the time when I'm making a journal. The same with this this drawer down here, which are my little punchers and this little corner thing and all these kind of things you use. They all fit together, right? They're kind of the same. And the stapler, now the Scotch tape, that sort of doesn't go with it, but it's where I've always kept Scotch tape, in this drawer. That had to be there so I would know that. And it fits, there's enough room. So then, in here, this is, I don't know what you would call this. Well, it's mostly string or bindings, things. Here's some embroidery. The things I use to sew the journals together. So that's how that fits. This had to go there. There's really not much room in the other drawer that it might go better in, like this one here. These are the little accessories I use for either binding or, like the corners for a journal. Brads. In this little sewing rubber bands, this little sewing thing, are my the little punch things to make holes with, the awls and needles, big needles. So I know where to go, not search through things for that. But it was a big mess. And you know how one of the little things like tiny brads and safety pins and things, and they all get down into the containers, and sooner or later it's pretty much a big mess. Whoops, and we drop things. So I really like this a lot. And then more, I guess I have a lot of embellishments, don't I? More embellishments. And these are mostly charms and things that I have put in little containers and sometimes in a bag. So, oops, this one was open. This, have to fix that later. I think something got squished. Okay, so these are chains that I can make an embellishment with for the journal, and then there's double-sided tape right here, and then extra, well, this is full of washi tape, so I can go right to that. Down here is all envelopes. There's a few cards, just regular cards, but the rest, all of these are various types of envelopes that I've took me a little while to go through it and organize it, but I can go to find a certain type of envelope I need now, because I had 2 drawers that had envelopes and some bags and cards all in, well, maybe it was 1 drawer, I don't know, but anyway, whatever it was, it wasn't good. And then this one just has the bag. In this last drawer, I call this my miscellaneous drawer, even though it is not a good idea to have a miscellaneous drawer, because then you could just keep putting whatever in there. It's full now, so that's not hopefully it's not gonna happen. But I have some Velcro, some feathers, some extra embroidery, floss, vintage wallpaper, border, you know, various things. I just don't have one place to put each of those things, so at least not right now. So that is that drawer. So I brought in some lilacs from our miniature lilac bush in our garden. And it's very nice smelling in here. So I will show you the wallpaper boxes. And the ones are covered with wallpaper. So like inside I just have arranged, this is the, oh, it can be anything, but it's vintage, of course. And I did have a French one, but I kind of changed that up a bit because I already made a couple of those. Yeah, not that I can't make another one, but this is the sewing. It's quite full, so I do need to make, as you can see, I didn't wallpaper inside. I painted this one, not wallpaper. I should mention, I think you can see that, but so anyway, various things I collected to make, you know, I put together that I've had and to make a sewing journal. And then this, okay, so this one is painted, so they're all not like blending together with wallpaper, but I used different pattern wallpaper. And I didn't put it had a label on here, but I took it off. I can glue it back on, but in order to cover this, I had to take it off. So I have them if I want to label them, but I don't really need to do that. Okay, so this one is the lavender journal, which I have made several lavender journals. One which I will be doing a flip through pretty soon, and the other is possibly as well. But I can definitely make another journal. Well, not just one. That'll cover quite a few things, I think. Now I showed you this antique bowl, a beautiful green, the kind of green I like, with my laces that I put on boards that I covered with wallpaper. And then inside that trunk there's lace, and behind there's some more buttons and lace. I showed some of this to you before, but I did change this up a little bit, and we'll show you what it's very hard to do one-handed, so that will be something in a second. I'll show you. I want to say Beth made this for me as well. As I had said in my previous video, that she, a subscriber friend, made this for me and the things inside of it. And then in here, I put some special jewelry and antique type of accessories. These are like black and white ones. So in the box that Beth gave me, so pretty. So that's where they live, right there. And then in these boxes. This one sticks a little. I think I just have some embellishments in there. Yeah. Some things I can grab easily. And this one, I think photographs, yeah. And then I think there's some fabric in the one below. And then here's the one that I just kind of roughly decoupaged on there. And then some more little laces. Got a theme going on here. And then in this one, oh, surprise, more lace. Okay, so those are those little boxes. And I enjoy seeing these embellishments every day, this way. And then, and of course, the things that have been given to me and everything, very precious. So that sign back there is another precious thing that my daughter painted for me. So I wanted to say I painted this shelf white, of course, as you can see, and it was black. I'll show you the before. And I like it much better over here than, of course, there's other things over in the closet now. So this looks cute over here. Okay, just outside in the hallway, outside the squeaky door, it's a WD-40. I can store my little ironing board right there to get it out of the way if I want. And then I'll show you over here. I've shown in other videos, but this is where I keep my extra books, and it works out really well. I like it a lot. I brought out some of my papers that I printed, the ones in the magazine holders. They were on the dresser, and they don't really need to be stored on the dresser, and it works out really well for me. I like this very much. So lastly, I thought I would show you what this side of the room looks like without those two carts in front of these two pieces of furniture. Both of these pieces of furniture I got quite a while ago. The glass top of the dresser, that's an actual antique dresser. It used to have a mirror, which I no longer have. I did paint that. It's okay because the wood was not that beautiful. And so I had that. I've had that since the 1980s, but the top part I got maybe 10 years ago, close to 10 years ago. And then the other one over here, the kitchen queen or Hoosier cabinet, I'm sure it was originally like a pine wood, but that was painted when I bought it, and that I got that about 15-20 years ago, I think. And I like how they look, and it is very nice to have vintage cabinets. All right, well, thanks so much for watching again, and check out my other videos of this room or anything you want to at Sweetbriar Cottage. And the part 3 or part 1 if you just started watching part 2 and didn't see that already. All right. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.